right, so how we doing here? So look, this is gonna be like the crown jewels on this Barry Harris's chromatic workout series. I'll keep doing more things as I learn more, but this is gonna be a really important one. So I would suggest that if you're not really familiar or you haven't gotten good at this yet, that you go back and you get good at it using the guidelines that I taught you previously, okay? So anyways, just to review a little bit before we get started playing these things, we're playing over C7 in 16th notes because there's like a funk thing. And I'm going to base a lot of what I do on the blues scale, right? Because that's a sound that's very good for a dominant chord, right? So now, also, the other choice we have for a scale is we can play the major scale that matches this chord. And we're going to use Barry's chromatic guidelines while we do this. What does that mean? Well, it means that we're playing over a C7 chord. C7 is a 5 chord of F major, right? So that means that F major is the scale that we need to use. Now, if you want to think about that scale as C mixolydian, that's perfectly fine. Whatever easiest for you, it doesn't make any difference. Some people would just think of F major, some people would just think of C mixolydian. It doesn't make any difference at all. Now, so in that case, scales like this, right? That's perfectly fine. Scale to use. You can mix this with the blues scale, like I tend to do. Now, using Barry's rules, when we get a whole step, you can put a chromatic note between. Between C and B flat, we get another, it's a whole step. Between B flat and A, it's a half step. So we jump back by his rules. All right? So that's how we do it. Now, why do we jump to that C note? Why do we do that? Just because it works good and it's pleasing. But see, I'm going to disclose some information to you. I didn't tell you all the details. That C note, remember we jumped back to the note before or above, if you want to think about it that way. That note, it doesn't have to be that note at all. That note is, I don't really know what to call it. It's just like a note that we play so that that A note will end up on the downbeat. That's that C note. By putting that C note in that line, that A note ends up on the downbeat where we want it. We don't want it on the upbeat. If you ignored that C note and kept playing chromatically, it would throw all the other notes that you want on the downbeats, the scale tones. They would end up on the upbeats, and the chromatic notes would be on the downbeats, and it would discombobulate your senses. It would sound wrong. You wouldn't really hear it as mixolydian anymore. You would hear it as some kind of weirdness. Try it and you'll see. So the fact that all the scale tones end up on the downbeat and the chromatic notes end up on the upbeats, it allows you to still hear that dominant scale as the proper scale. The chromaticism doesn't bother you, or actually you sort of like it because it's on the upbeats, just connecting all those consonant notes, okay? That's the trick. But, like I said, there isn't really, even though there's a guideline for how to do it, and I sort of explained it to you to do it this way, that just because I want you to be able to get it on your fingers before we start breaking the rules, right? Changing the guidelines. So that C note could be any note. I could go like this. The C note. Or I could go. It could be anything you like, right? Because the objective is just to put that A note on the downbeat. Okay, so remember, because this is a workbook, so let's just take one pattern and sort of work on that, okay? So instead of going to the note above, what if we go to the note below? Instead of the C note, we go to this G note. F and E to half step. So usually we go. But what if we go to a scale note below? So we're using a different note, but the outcome is the same because it puts the scale tones on the downbeats and the chromatic notes on the upbeats, right? Okay, so let's just work at these one at a time. Now, playing 16th notes, it means that we want the last note to end up, we don't want anything, but I mean, just for the sake of practice, we're going to make the last note in the line end up on the downbeat of the next measure, okay? So now I'm going to approach it by pentatonic scale notes, just because that's the kind of person I am. So here's the pentatonic scale, right? I'm going to go like this. I'm going to play 3 16th notes as pickup notes. And that's going to lead me to that D note. That C note is going to be on the 1 beat of the next measure. Okay, so let's try that. Try that with me. Try it with me. I'll put the tab up here so you can do it with me. How did you like it? Let's try it the old way, using the old guidelines. And I'll do the old guidelines, and then I'll do the new guidelines, and we'll see which we like better, okay? Like better. This is just a different kind of choice. In some ways, I like this new guideline better, but just a matter of taste and preference. The ultimate goal is that you mix all these things up, right? That's the ultimate goal. Okay. So, anyways, let's go to the next one. If we went from D, right? What if we go from C? Now, how are the pickups going to work here? Using the pentatonic scale, we want 3 of them. There's that C. Now we're going to do the same exact guidelines that we just did. Okay. Okay, did we get it? Let's try that one and see if we like that. Next, we went D, we went C. Let's go do B flat now. What are we going to do for pickups? Let's see here. Right, and then we're going to do the same guideline. Now that A is a little bit sketchy maybe on this chord. So it's not a 13 chord, it's a 9 chord. So you resolve it nicely, To a chord tone. Let's try it. So next we're on the A. Now we can use the same pickups for this one. Right. I sort of like this sound. I like it already. Gonna take us to a G, which is a chord tone. It's good. That's a cool sound. Right, so next up, we went to A here. So next we're going to be on G. Okay, so what are we going to do for pickups? F's a little sketchy. It's like if it was a sus chord, it'd be great, but it's not. It's a nine chord with a major third in it. So we got to figure out what to do. You just keep going. You move to a chord tone, right? So what do we got? Try it. Next, we're going to go to F. What do we got here? So, the pickups. Right away, we got a half step, so we're going to have to go. E is the third of the chord, so it'll be fine. Okay, that was good. Next, we got E. Ooh, so let's see what's going to happen here. D is the ninth, but it's sort of lower register, so, you know, we find a way to resolve it. All right. Okay, next we got D. So how are we going to do that? Which brings us to the bottom note of the scale, C, right? To the root of the chord. good. So these are fun, right? But again, I have to warn you, or at least prepare you. You can come up with a ton of different notes to use and combine them in different ways. Okay, so let's just talk about a couple that I could do. Let's say, what if I did the first one in the old guidelines, and then this time the new guideline. Fine, let's try it. Fun was that? Okay, but let's come up with some different ideas, just random ideas. Let's. Oh, I have an interesting idea. Let's say we go to the old guideline, completely. But what if I displace those notes an octave lower? Octave disbursement. Is that what you call it? So we're gonna go like this. Instead of that, ooh, that's hard. That's hard. Let me see if I can do it. I don't know if I can. I need to practice it a little bit more, but I'll do my best. Ooh, that's kind of hard because your fingers go do weird stuff. But that's a cool sound, right? What else could we do here? What if I just said, instead of doing a scale, what if I just went to a chromatic note below the A note? And what would that be like? In other words, like this. Chromatic below. Be really chromatic sounding, I guess. Was pretty cool. What if I just use random notes from the pentatonic scale? Let's see. Sounds cool to me. I don't really have any other ideas right now, but you could just think of different ways that you can, those two notes. I don't even know what you want to call them. Those notes that those, let's call it fixer notes, because they fix the chromatic problem, right? They put everything's in the right places. So you have to figure out where to put those notes, and it could be anywhere. I suggest you do the Barry's original guidelines first, and then you sort of rethink about different possibilities like we're doing now. But, honestly, you can mix it up a bunch of different ways. There's no real one way that you have to do it. Those notes that fix everything could be totally, doesn't have to be one formula at all, okay? So when I was practicing, I came up with this kind of cool idea, like this one. I like that because that's already like a blues motif. That's like a cool idea. I'm now doing it ascending, but usually you go like this. But I went like this. That's a cool idea. Okay. So next up, remember, have a little fun. When you repeat it so much like we're doing, it becomes monotonous and it starts to lose its musical, vibe. So you don't want it. After you practice a lot, you got to go back into musician mode and use these things to play something creative and interesting. Okay, so that's what I'm going to do now. I'm just going to jam out a little bit here and see if I can come up with some cool ideas. All right, I got my BMF Effects Liquid Sky down there, and I'm going to sort of use that too to have a little bit of fun. All right.